When we change our mindsets, we can change our outcomes. Save our lives from sadness, depression, and anxiety, thus giving us the freedom to live the life we want. Hi, I'm Stuart Haskin, founder of GetSafe, and your host of the Movement for Change podcast. Welcome back, podcasters. I got Dr. Nita Cash today, Dave Monderine. We're going to be talking about safe driving, but not traditionally, like turn your blinkers on, drive under the speed limit, which is all important, but we're going to be talking about dangers of the road rage, being followed, when you're getting gas, paying attention to your situational and environmental surroundings. So this is going to be a good one. See you soon. Hi, welcome back to our podcast, Movement for Change. I got my friend, Dr. Nita Cash.
Hey.
And Dave Monderine. No, he's a great guy. We've been training forever, so we have therapy sessions.
Weekly.
Welcome. How you guys been doing? How was whatever? Anything new and exciting?
Just trying to stay dry out there with the downpour and the deluge, being safe, and trying to keep my Mediterranean hair from getting too moisturized.
Because we're in Southern California. So,
yes.
Yeah, just in case you're listening back
It's
east.
Horrendous. 4 days of rain. I mean, we don't know what to do.
We don't know what to do in Southern California by the beach. It's very foreign to us that it rains.
So, Dr. Cash, do you have anything new, any projects coming up that are exciting?
Any projects that are coming up? Yeah, well, the Sports Illustrated stuff is happening, getting closer to the launch of the 60th edition.
So cool.
Oh, man, that's going to be great.
So cool. And yeah, just being very fortunate enough to do a lot of audition, getting booked, and doing some commercials and some modeling jobs. So it's been great.
Nice.
Hey, any D&D stuff going on?
Yeah, my homies and I, we had a continuation of our Dorkapalooza last night,
Cool.
which was a lot of fun. Yeah, threw down some Fat Tire ales and some Round Table Pizza. Not a sponsor, either of them, but lots of fun. And just connecting with my friends. So
Well, and then I was on the Nerd Text with you and Brad, and you're talking about, was it Oingo Boingo?
No. Brad
Brad
asked a joke, which was deftly executed, which was, did you hear that the Beastie Boys are coming out with a 5-part anthology?
The Boys Beastie? Okay, side note, did you guys know that I was in a Beastie Boys video?
Which one?
And I'm in their documentary.
Which one? Wait.
I know.
Back up.
Yeah.
Back the heck up.
I knew it was one of them. Oingo
Rewind.
Boingo or Beastie Boys. That was
Which Beastie Boys
Hey,
video?
lady.
No way!
Yes. So I am the lady who's doing the bump, right, with Mike D.
Nice.
And I'm also putting on my fake booty pads in the bathroom. Yeah.
That's so cool. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I've known you for like a million years.
Well, you
Exactly.
got two nerdy fans, Brad and Dave, as soon as Brad finds out.
But the punchline is you get
Oh, boy.
you
Can we
get
cut
parts
this, by the
A
way?
through D, but you have to fight for
Right. to
part
party.
E. And I'm all, oh my God, I can't believe I just fell for that dad joke. And it was over a text, and it was like, took 2 hours for me to answer, and I was like face palming.
I just couldn't figure out how to block you guys. I was trying to. I'm not very tech savvy. All right, let's get rocking.
I'm sorry, real quick. How come I'm not involved in these things? It's just a guy thing? Hello?
What's your NQ, your nerd quotient?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, it's kind of low.
Yeah, you see, it's got to be kind of high to hang with.
You know when you were at parties and he was getting wedgies? That's the difference right now. So
I was actually getting trash can.
Oh,
Thank
sorry.
you very much.
My bad.
Yeah, so like,
my
Which
daughter would
bullying is not good, and
Yes.
that's for another podcast.
Not
We'll talk
podcast.
about that later.
yeah, exactly.
All right, so let's get rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Can I tell you something that I saw the other day in the news? So I'm in my news feed. I saw some major tech company. I want to say Apple. Don't know. Again, not a sponsor. They have this like cool VR headset where you can do all kinds of stuff in real time, and it looks real space age. Super dorky, but hey, whatever. Everything comes with a startup cost, whether it's your dignity or your money. And then I saw somebody using that same headset, hands-free on the freeway with a well-known car with hands-free feature, operating some sort of software with their hand not on the wheel.
So
and
they
that
were
just
in
baked
the
my
driver's seat, is that what you're saying?
Driver's seat.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
In traffic with a VR headset, hands off the wheel.
Well, that's pretty funny because I was just reading my favorite book, Chapter 2, Get Safe.
Yes.
You can get it on Amazon.
Oh, your book.
I thought thought you were the guy in the car. The way you made it sound like you were the guy in the car wearing the glasses reading chapter 2.
No, last night I was reading it. Well, yes, I was kind of reading it. But anyway, I mean, obviously that does not sound super safe.
Oh, God.
I've been having a lot of issues with self-drive.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the rain in California. When it rains in California, no one can drive.
Right.
They lose all motor skills in their hands and their feet, and nothing ever goes. But let's talk about some driving safety.
Absolutely.
And that has to do with everything, just driving, parking, and getting gas, all those things. So let's start. Dave, you got one?
Well, I mean, the obvious thing, without sounding like a just major doofus, is just pay attention. Just be in the moment. You are in control of upwards of 6,000 pounds of rolling metal. Mm-hmm. Just pay attention. Learn to control your vehicle. If you get a bigger vehicle, learn to drive it properly. Learn to park it. Learn how to operate the vehicle from a place of safety so you can be plugged in, so to speak, at all times.
Yeah. So what are some of the factors that negate that control, right? We already have this technology stuff that gets in our way, correct?
Yeah.
What's the safe way? I mean, people are still texting, and they're supposed to be hands-free. Now they're using, I guess, audio or voice-activated text. That helps. They have things that they can do, just strictly asking Siri to compose a text. That helps, right? But when you're on your phone, your line of sight's off. You're looking down, correct?
More often than not, no matter where, whether or not your phone's mounted here, which is probably safer than lower or higher, you're just still not looking at the road. Somebody ostensibly is trying to post something or read a post or a comment versus paying attention to what they're doing.
So what are you using in your car for maps and to get here? Because you seem like you get lost a lot.
No, I don't.
Well, you asked me 7 times.
I digress for just a hot second. My brother, he gave me a Thomas guide. For those of you who know Thomas guides, and that was the best gift ever. So I'm really good with maps. Having said that,
I still have one.
I put my phone in the glove box because I do. You know what? And I guess because I'm an Xer. And guess what? We didn't have phones before. And I survived without my phone when I was in the car driving. So I put it in the glove box. There's nothing that's going to be that important for me to take my eyes off the road.
So you use your maps on your car then? Because that seems kind of awkward because you have to stop before you can adjust your destination. But you use the maps, right?
Yeah, I had the maps. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I either put it in beforehand, but then I have a car where I can use the maps on the actual car, on the dashboard. Yeah. But I get everything before I even drive out of my driveway. I just want to be safe.
Yeah.
I really
No, and I
do.
agree because that hesitation, I mean, that's how we hit individuals. We talked about crosswalk safety. If you look down for a second, if you have to have your phone as a maps thing, then make sure it's in your eye line as you're driving. Mm-hmm. Some connect to your car audio, so you have the big screen that it works with that. But those are the things that really get us in trouble. I mean, is just not paying attention, right? And then also, what is it, the old days, eating croissants and coffee and not paying attention?
Putting your makeup on. I saw somebody years ago, they were putting their makeup on by using the visor, that has the mirror on there. I'm like, what are you doing?
I see that a lot.
Dudes shaving in the rearview mirror, like you're saying, it's like cocked at a 90-degree angle, putting on eyeliner, shaving, whatever. They're not paying attention. I want to put the mirror back. It's going to drive me.
And to your point, there should be a law that when you drive, you should just be driving because that thing is big, and any mistake you make. And also, unfortunately, pedestrians feel the right of way, even though the car is much bigger, and they should be paying attention more. But we won't go down that rabbit hole because we've done that. Yeah. Let's go on with other things that you have to worry about when you're in a car.
Well, don't we always talk about the idea of keeping your car as properly maintained as you're capable of so that it's in good working condition? Putting off getting new tires might sound like we're cutting a corner now, but when it rains, then we might not have the traction that we need.
Or it gets flattened when you're out in the dark in the worst time. Those things don't happen at the best time. You don't get a flat in front of the tire shop. You get a flat when you're driving to Big Bear or Arrowhead or some mountainous road. So keep your car in mechanical shape.
Yeah, and especially, right now with the rain, right? It's Murphy's Law. When it rains, I forgot to check my windshield wipers. Now they don't work. I mean, how many times has that not happened to me?
See, I get the reverse. I get the reverse. It stops raining, and then I get a pterodactyl pooping on my car, and then I got to wait until either I decide to go get it washed or it rains again. But okay. So what about like gas tank levels? My dad was loath to put more than $2 worth of gas in the car because his thought was, what if I sell the car?
Really?
Then I'm going to be giving the person who buys the car a full tank of gas. I'm like, oh my God. But anyway, what do we recommend? What do we talk about?
Well, I'm going to say this. I got actually a text I think it was an email. Someone had watched the podcast regarding safety, and they said, guess what I did the first time in my life is my car was under half. I filled it up. Well, wow. We touched one life. Thank you. This is our last podcast because we've done everything we could do last time.
Set out to do.
Yeah. But
Okay.
yeah, so let's go talk about getting gas, because that's where we see a lot of dangerous situations for your safety. So when you're getting gas, and we talked about the other day at one of the podcasts where if the pump is not accepting your credit card and you have to go in, what do we do?
Well, I know what I do, and what
Right.
GetSafe has trained me to do
Plug.
is I shut the door, but I take my keys and I lock the door.
Yes.
And I take my purse too. I don't leave anything in the car. I don't leave my child in the car because I'm just going to run in either.
Yeah.
Not that I have a child, but I know a lot of people. I'm just going to run in real quick and their baby's in the car seat. Just don't.
With an unlocked car.
With
That's
an
the thing.
unlocked
So
car,
those are
yeah.
the things. And then when you're still getting gas and your child's in there, obviously crack the window, but the doors are locked because people can go in on the other side because you're on one side of the car and they can crawl on the other side. And sometimes you don't even notice because we're not paying attention. We're so worried about how much this stupid tank of gas is going to
I
cost
know.
us.
Especially
And we're
in
not paying
Southern
attention to our safety. But
And a big part of that is, say we're getting gas and we're approached by a person experiencing homelessness or somebody in need saying, hey, do you have a couple of bucks? Our heart might say, I want to give to this person, but must we or ought we if we are getting that uh-oh feeling for some reason?
Yeah.
So what would you recommend with that random ask for cash at the gas station, which happens quite a bit?
well, you propose the question. You be the
Sure.
bad guy here.
So
What
no,
would you
but
do?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
All right. With that said, I'm going to hold off for a second.
Okay.
We're going to come back to that question and see how Dave squirms out of that one. All right. All right. Thank you. We're going to take a quick break.
Be right back. Everybody has the right to be safe.
At GetSafe, we believe in 4 keys of leadership: empathy, integrity, inclusion, and community. That last piece, the community, is essential for us here at GetSafe. We believe in taking care of the community. If we care for something, nurture it, we become part of its growth. GetSafe is an agency that empowers a wide variety of groups, clubs, agencies, workplaces, all that make up our community that we are proud of. When we change our community mindset, we can positively change our outcomes towards a safer future with one another.
Hi, we're back from break, and Dave is going to tell us what to do if someone is either suffering from homelessness, mental illness, or someone might be trying to take advantage of you
Yeah, and while
at a
we're
gas station.
Yeah, if we're at a gas station or we're walking out of the convenience store and we're approached, we may feel, hey, I feel safe giving this person some money. And if that's what you feel, that's great. We want you to do what you feel is appropriate and safe for you in the moment. You're under no obligation if you feel unsafe. But I will keep a couple loose dollar bills around that are easily accessible, so I don't have to dig for my wallet if I feel that it's safe to give to somebody in need. Mm-hmm. So I'll have a couple loose dollar bills in an easily accessible part of my vehicle. But I'm not going to pull out my wallet and riff through a bunch of bills or go digging or put my head down to go for my wallet and be distracted momentarily.
Correct.
Exactly.
So, but if I get a weird feeling for whatever reason, and I'm sorry, I don't have anything, I'll create a little barrier. But what if that person approaches me further or steps it up or escalates it after I say, no, I can't help you, I'm sorry. What can I do? Can I leave the car pumping gas and go into the convenience store? Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. We have a castle mentality with our possessions. Like, This is my thing. I'm not giving it up.
Can't leave it. Yeah.
So like we talked about in a previous episode about like a purse or a jacket or a hat or something of value, our vehicle is even more valuable to us typically. And we might feel even more compelled to try to save it from that person.
May I step back a few steps now? What we do is, right, I don't know, I'm going to say act like you're a police officer in a situation. You get out of your car, you lock it, you scan the area, correct? You see if there's any potential danger anywhere. Mm-hmm. I go to the tank, I assess that I can get gas, I forecast I'll be safe, and I get gas, and that's my execution. But we're continually looking, right? And if sometimes we don't want to look away at people because they might be staring at them, we use our windows on our car as reflection surfaces.
Reflective surfaces, yes.
To see who's around you. But now we're always seeing, and then we also see where our exit is, right? Is there a cashier behind a glass thing? Is the door open? Is it closed? Is there another area I can run to? Is there
a donut shop?
Yes,
it's closer.
Exactly. 7-Eleven, donut shop, anything around that area can I get to? So now we've taken control of our, I mean, I know it's funny because you sound like so crazy. All right, this is just getting gas, but it is. Now but you feel better when you do, because once you start doing it a lot, and we talk about the SAFE method, the scan, assess, forecast, execute thing, which is super simple, and we do it all the time. So now we're in control, correct?
Yeah.
What am I missing?
I think basically we've got it covered because like you said, if we feel safe, we'll continue in the interaction. If we don't, then we'll make a different decision, and we're constantly reassessing.
And we scan the area. I get out of the car and I'm with my kids and I see, I don't know, maybe they're a bunch of gang kids over there fighting, getting ready to start a fight. I don't want my kids anywhere near there because someone's going to have a handgun, someone's going to shoot. I'll just get back in the car and go, and I'll find another gas station.
No shame in that game.
Now,
go ahead.
I was going to ask you a question. So, you're at the gas station, a homeless person comes up to you. Not only can you maybe go up to the cashier and whatnot, but if there's other people at the gas station as well, right? Other people pumping gas, you can look at them, get their attention as well, and to say, hey, I need some help here. Or would you say help, or would you, what would you say?
I would, what's happening is that if it escalated to the point where you say, hey, please call 911, I would not expect them to do it because a lot of people just don't want to get involved. But it is one point. The one person who's going to hear that is the person going after them. Now, if they're not cognizant of what's going on and they're just being aggressive, they may not hear that. So my thing is definitely be very articulate what you need from them, right? Hey, I need you to call 911 right now, please. And then in the meantime, what are we using as we get out of there? Shields, right? We got tanks.
Barriers.
So we can get between, barriers that we can, our car is a barrier. We keep moving around. And because some people want to get into their car, which if you can, great. If you can't, then because you got to open it, you got to get in, you got to lock the door, you got to get the key in, because remember there's only an inch and a half of glass
maybe
there?
3/4 of an inch.
Yeah. So those are the things that we sometimes find that is our safety fortress, but it really isn't
as safe as we think.
Yeah. So we look and listen. This is all us saying what can happen when you're in the situation. Those are the decisions you'll be making for you. We just want to give you some tools for your toolkit.
And it's not to denigrate, obviously, those experiencing homelessness or those experiencing mental illnesses. We're just saying, in case we don't feel comfortable for some reason, these are some choices we can make. Now, Regina, you were going to talk about something, if I remember. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so we're going to set it up in the sense of, now there's a couple things that happen when some of us get pulled over, correct? We'll be driving down, it could be a dark freeway, it could be a lit freeway. But there's tools, what we can do, steps that we do, and our Dr. Cash will tell us a story that happened.
You're speaking about peace officers, correct?
Peace officers, yes, sorry.
This was probably in the 80s when I did that Beastie Boys around that time. Beastie Boys video.
Later, age yourself. It was just last week this happened.
So I had an agency in San Francisco, so I would drive from Southern California to San Francisco on a consistent basis. So what is it, about 6-7 hours on the freeway? And I remember one time I got pulled over on the highway, and it was probably about 10:30, 11 p.m. at night. It was dark, and I was by myself.
Scary, right?
Scary. Yeah. And the lights behind me were flashing, but I remember that my father had told me that just because there's flashing lights doesn't always mean that's a police officer. I mean, it could be a fire truck. It could be, a construction worker, but you always need to be safe.
Yeah.
And, I just remember how scared I was. And, I kept the windows rolled up, and the police officer shined his light in there. I think it was highway patrol, and roll it down, but I made sure he had the badge, and I made sure that he looked really legit before I did anything. And that was, I think, pre-cell phone days, so I couldn't really call anybody at the time because this was late 80s. When did cell phones come out? Was it 80s?
I think you could have done a carrier pigeon or something like that.
What that? Yeah.
Are you a real police officer? But so now the steps have changed for the good and the bad, right? The bad is anyone can buy a light bar on Amazon. Correct.
You're talking about the
red and whites or red and blacks or red and blues, whatever it is, something flashy that throws us off at night, right? It doesn't even matter what color it is. We freak out when we see flashing lights. You get those anywhere. I mean, before Amazon, it was still on You can just find them in a junkyard. You can find them at different stores. So we have that. But then also now with technology, what could we do now if you're nervous about, even if it's maybe we want to check and see if it's a legit police officer. So what can we do?
Well, I had my cell phone. I would have called the highway patrol and said, my name is, I'm on this road. This is my car. This is my license plate. And I have someone who is pulling me over, but I want to confirm that they are indeed a highway patrol police officer XYZ. And I can guarantee you that the police officer or highway patrol person is not going to get mad at you if you do that.
Yeah. And so the other thing is that we will just go directly and call 911.
Yeah.
Super quick, super easy, and just say, hey, and try and remember, because I'm terrible at remember where I'm at. So if you can kind of remember what highway you're on and what off-ramps are near you, let them know that. That will help for sure. So then you just say, did you send someone out? And they say yes. Now, what if the cop has a bad attitude? Maybe they're mean. Maybe they're being derogatory. Maybe they're, I'm with law enforcement, and I feel 95% are great, but there are 5%, and it's a big force, so that's a lot of numbers out there that could be like that. So what do you feel if you're feeling threatened? What can you do if you got pulled over? Dave?
Well, I can ask to speak to a supervisor.
Can you ask, or can you just call?
Yeah, I can call 911. If I'm feeling like there's a chance that this can go really sideways really quick, I would just call 911, and I'd say, hey, I'm at the off-ramp off of blah, blah, blah by this freeway. I believe there's a highway patrol officer who's pulling me over. I'm scared for my safety. And articulate as best I can in the middle of that situation.
Yeah, ask them to send someone out, and those are the things that we want to do. And now, listen, we can film, of course, and the only issue with filming is it's an after-the-fact proof. Like if something bad happens to you, first act on how to get out of that situation, how to get help there as fast as possible, instead of just, I'm going to film you beating me up. No, don't do that. And like I said, it doesn't happen a ton, but we want to have tools in case it does.
And as a civilian, if I can speak to something that Regina had mentioned, no decent officer of the law is going to have a problem with us confirming, to make sure that we have a smooth interaction, because that officer wants to go home and see their family too.
But also two reasons, right? The other reason is, okay, no offense, this lady might be a little wacky. So I want someone else to come out, right?
Yeah.
Because you deal with that.
Never know.
So I would want that. I say, all right, sure, let me get whoever, I'll get everyone out. And this way I'm releasing my liability in a situation that and it becomes, and a lot of times there's body camera now so they can see it, but still, if they don't have that, it's a he said, she said, he said kind of thing, or he.
And I'm so glad that you guys are saying this, because when I made the comment that no police officer or highway patroller would ever get mad at you for wanting to be safe or to confirm, I think that's my Pollyanna, right? And not everybody, a lot of people have this Pollyanna outlook. I'm always optimistic and I'm always positive, but you two are absolutely right. Yeah. Not every police officer or safety personnel is gonna be true,
Yeah.
and they could be having a bad day.
And I always say it's
or
not
I could be
the
a crazy lady,
industry,
right?
It's the person, right?
Yeah.
Because we see that in everything. We see it in all kinds of areas that there have been people. Okay, real quick. So if we have time, we're going to go. We got it. It's fine.
Well, do we want to talk about traffic issues like
accidents?
Traffic accidents. We want to talk about that a little bit?
That'd be great.
Yeah. So there's an old insurance fraud thing. I think, Regina, you and I were talking about this right before we got on camera, which was, it goes by different names, but it's commonly called a swoop and squat, where a car will swoop in front of you as quickly as it possibly can and then hit the brakes, causing the target, in this case me, to rear end them. And ostensibly, I would be at fault. The person who initiated the collision would then try to extort me for information or money on the spot, to try to find some sort of pain point for me to fork over a couple $100 or to go to the ATM and get robbed of even more money. Or
come out, take your car.
Yeah.
You've stopped, throw you on the side of the road and move on. We had that happen years ago when, super sad, these Boy Scouts were driving and saw a female on the side of the road with a flat. So they pulled over, or something, it was breaking down. I don't think it was a flat. They pull over, go to help, and all of a sudden, all these guys jumped over the side of the what is it, the roadway?
The embankment or whatever.
Yeah, embankment. And they came over and
terrible.
threw the kids down, took their car, and stole all their stuff. Yeah, I mean, they were just trying to do what they were taught to do, the right thing. And they were obviously with a driver, but everyone got assaulted there. But those are the things that, we want to look at, right? What do we do to prevent it real quick? Because I know we're running out of time.
So if we're involved in a collision, can we call 911 and let them know, hey, I'm at the corner of such and such and such and such. I was just involved in an accident. Is that something that we can do even before we step out and give our insurance information to the driver?
Yep. And if we have a bad feeling, we can put on our flashers, drive very slow to an area that we can get to that's well lit and there's populated. Those are the things we always look for, lights and people. And then we can pull over there and see. But I would call 911. I mean, sometimes they'll say, is anyone hurt? And they might not be able to come out, but at least there's record of you being out there and what's going on. Real quick, let's backtrack just for a second. When you do get pulled over and you feel safe, you're very good at this. What do you do when you're getting pulled over?
Me?
Yes, Dave, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I illuminate my cabin so that the officer, if it's at night, so the officer
He turns
can
on the
see.
lights in his.
Yeah, so I turn on the dome light. I make sure my hands are either at 10 and 2 or on the dash. And I do roll down my window enough so the officer can see my eyes and my mouth clearly. And I try to be respectful. Now, I am a smarty pants, but I also do respect the fact that an officer's job is ridiculously difficult. So I might be inconvenienced by having to stop before I get to my doctor's appointment or my next teaching engagement. But what is more important is that officer needs to know that they get to go home. And if I'm issued a citation or a warning, that I can be on my way as quickly as possible.
Remember, an officer, I always feel like highway patrol is a very dangerous job because they do that all the time. And we've done it in the field, even as a reserve. And, they get tinted windows. You don't know what's behind that window, what's going to go on. So it is, listen, even if you're mad, try and pull that back. And remember, their job is very difficult. And they're talking to someone they don't know who. And like Dave has his hands up, they can see your hands. They see the light in there. Then they can instruct you, please get your ID. They can watch you get your ID. If you're fumbling too much, that's going to freak them out a bit.
Yeah.
But, those are the things that is hard for them.
And know your rights, because if you don't know your rights, you don't have any rights.
Right.
So know when and where it's applicable and appropriate to decline a search, or when it's time to say, I want to talk to a lawyer. Know your rights. So with that being said, we do want to articulate that too also.
All right. So,
I'm sorry, just real quick, Dave. So, Stuart said that you have a lot of experience in this. So how many times have you been pulled over?
Well,
he drives like a maniac.
I do not.
I mean, you sound like you've got this down to a science.
I am not Ricky Road Racer. Can I tell the story? Can I tell this? So the last citation I got was in 2009, and I totally deserved it. Absolutely deserved it. And it turned out that you and I, Stuart, like 2 years after I got that citation, we had that issuing officer in our class, and I'm all, hey, Deputy so-and-so, do you work in this area? He goes, yeah. Are you a motor officer? He goes, yeah. I said, you cited me 2 years ago, dude. I totally deserved it, though, because I was driving like a knucklehead. But I have changed my ways, so
Yeah, so if Dave hears a siren right now, he's going to put his hands up on the camera. But all right, so real quick, we're running way over, but let's just talk briefly about, and it's a very serious subject, but road rage. How to avoid it, not engage it, and because we've had some really sad situations when people, they didn't know what they were doing, they yelled at the other person was carrying a gun and had whatever reasons they had to do whatever they're going to do. So you're going down the street, Dr. Cash, and you cut someone off, they start honking at you, honk, what do you do?
Ignore. And just continue my on my route, making sure that I'm safe.
And what does that mean? So when you say ignore, you just kind of like go away, or
no.
Yeah.
So I'm making sure that the driver who's honking at me is not escalating to where they're trying to, swerve into me or tailgate me or go in front of me to slam on the brakes like we just talked about. If they're not doing anything like that, then I'm just going to continue following, the speed limit and going on my way. Now, if they start doing that other stuff, that's a whole other story.
But one way to do that, to look like you're saying, is look in the rearview mirror.
Yep.
Side mirror, not too big looks. You don't turn around and stare at them, because once you make that kind of eye contact, then they're either thinking you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to make this more, you want to escalate this. But we're just kind of looking slightly. I'll do the same thing. I'm always seeing what their behavior is like. Maybe it was just an accident. They're just having a bad day. Mm-hmm. They may drive by me and
give you a crappy look.
But I don't even let them do that, especially with the kids. I'm going to just pull around. So it's just, nice and easy. I'm not making
aggressive
maneuvers like that, but I'm just trying to get out of their line of sight. And usually they just take off and forget everything if that's happened for me.
Do you recommend glancing and taking a look at the color of the car, the kind of car, just in case we need to make a report?
Yeah, a glance is how. As long as it doesn't look like you're doing it. And, some people take out their phone. Hey, look, I'm shooting, I'm videotaping you. And sometimes that escalates and sometimes it scares them. But for me, if you can, somehow screenshot the plate or remember the plate, that's always going to be more helpful if something escalates too. But you got to be careful, right? Because the more you engage them.
So if somebody was behind you, Regina, do you think you could pop into your nav, take me to the nearest police station? Or
yes,
take
absolutely.
Fire department, fire station. Is that something that you would feel comfortable doing?
Yeah. So if I'm driving by myself, obviously I wouldn't be working the nav, right? Because that wouldn't be safe. But I would just maybe pull off and go to the nearest place that was populated with people, whether it be a gas station or a drive-through or a shopping mall or something where there is people around.
Yeah.
Because it can be very, very scary.
And you got to watch them because we had a terrible situation even happen here locally. A lady got off. There was a guy following her. She drove the police department. He followed her into the police department, and then there was a shooting.
Oh, God, that's right. I forgot about that.
That's how angry that dude was. He came in a fully armed police station and started shooting us. And, he didn't make it. One of the officers was hit. But so we just got to be very careful. There's people out there that...
having bad days. And this is, so you guys know that when I used to work for the university, I used to drive 40 miles one way every day, and I drove on the freeway.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because one of the freeways here in Southern California is it's kind of a link from where the port is and a lot of trucks, lots of trucks, and lots of people getting upset in the morning on these commutes. And so I would get cut off every single day, 5, 6, 7, 8 times a day.
And you flip him the bird.
No, this is what I had to change I changed my mindset because I just said, you know what? Every time someone cuts me off or something happens, that's a blessing in disguise. Yeah. So I would get to work and I'd be at my desk and my staff would say, so how many blessings did you have today? And I'd say 10. And it became like a joke because it's just not worth it, guys. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, I created a little story on perception and we don't have time to go into it, but maybe next time. But it's just talking about thinking... Putting the perception on that driver. They're ripping through. Maybe they have a loved one in the hospital.
Exactly.
Maybe they have to see their mom before they pass. And I had a situation like that where it was happening to me and I was driving a little faster than I should, but it was trying to get to the hospital. So sometimes, be kind. Sometimes think of the other person's perception of what's going on, and it'll make us less white-knuckled. Yes. Our hair will not be standing up when we get to our appointment, and we'll be more relaxed. All right,
that's
closing,
a big one.
Dave.
So I practice deep breathing when I'm stuck in traffic to help me calm down. So part of the reason why I'm not such a hothead anymore is because I do engage with coping skills. So if you're that kind of hothead driver, do some 4-count breathing, some box breathing. It helps tremendously. It's helped me quite a bit.
All right. We're Dr. Cashy.
Any last words? No, just stay safe.
Yeah.
Stay safe. And thank you for inviting me on your podcast.
Oh, of course. Welcome back. We'll have you again and again. Thank you very much and for joining us. We'll see you in the next podcast. Movement for Change and...
Check out the book, Amazon, or come to our website. The book, Get Safe, is amazing. It's fun. Great read.
Thank you. All right. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it. Dave, I owe you $20.
Yeah, you do.
Thank you for tuning in to our podcast, Movement for Change. We hope that our discussion has left you with new perspectives and insights that can help you change mindsets and save lives. Please visit us at getsafeusa.com for resources, trainings, and if there's a topic you want to hear about or you have questions, please email us at info@getsafeusa.com. Together, we can make the change we want to see.